In this video, I want to give you a quick hands-on demo of Caipi and how you as a developer can use it to create and integrate AI functionalities into your existing applications. So right now we're looking at the dashboard of Caipi, but we actually want to go ahead and create a new endpoint. So let's start with something simple, maybe something like a translator endpoint. And so for the instructions, we're going to say something like translate the input text to German. Next, we would design the request schema, which in this case is just a single parameter of type string called input. Similar, the response is just a single string parameter of name output, which is fine for now. So let's actually leave that as it is. And now we can open the project here and actually try out this endpoint and see how it works to say, hi, my name is Paul. And we get the German translation right away here on the right-hand side. We also get a log of all the invocations, including the number of credits that it cost, the execution time that it took, and different status codes that may come back from this request. And if we enable payload logging, we can also see the request and response messages that were sent and sent back from caipi. But like this, it's a bit boring. So let's actually go ahead and add another input parameter called target language. And we also need to adjust the prompt to say translate the input text to the specified language and update the endpoint. We can now see that we have a second parameter that we need to specify here. So let's again start with our hi, my name is Paul. But the target language is going to be German. And we get the same output as we have before. But now we have, kind of control over what we want to translate it to. So we can also say Spanish, for example, to get the Spanish translation. And this just makes it a bit easier for developers to read the interaction with large language models through this, known way of working with functions or REST APIs and give more precision of what it is that you want the large language model to do. We also get data validation right built in. So for example, if I remove this parameter that it actually requires, we get a 422 error with the information that target language needs to be sent in as an input parameter, otherwise it will not work. So the type of explicit errors that we would kind of expect and actually want from programmatic functions. But we can actually do a bit more. So let's go ahead and create another function. And let's assume that we're building an application where we want to generate workouts for our users, right? So let's call this the workout generator, for example. And, just to keep it brief and simple, let's just say instructions, generate a workout according to the provided information. And then for the request, we're going to say we have a fitness level that we want to specify. We have a goal that we want to specify, and also a number of exercises that we want to generate. And this should probably be of type number. For the response, we want to get back a list of exercises. So let's name this exercises and make it an array of object. And an exercise probably has a name. Let's say it also has an, intensity. And it also has a number of repetitions, which again is a number. Let's generate this, same procedure as before. Now we can actually go ahead and say we are a beginner and we have a goal of, weight loss, and we want to generate 6 exercises. And so if we do that, this is exactly what we're getting back here on the right-hand side with all the data validation built in. So if the large language model would send something back that is not according to the data schema that we designed, then it would actually throw an explicit error to let you know that something came back which isn't the structure that we expected. Maybe we also noticed that, the response wasn't that great. So we might want to change something like GPT 3.5 Turbo to GPT 4.0, which we can also do. So let's put this back in. Let's generate the new response. It's probably going to take a bit longer because this is a larger and slightly slower model, but yeah, I don't know. It's a fairly simple exercise still, but possibly this gives us a little bit more room for improvement and actually making this better. We can also see that the same request now actually cost 3 credits instead of just 1. So using larger models, of course, also costs more. Last but not least, if you kind of ask yourself how you can now integrate this, you simply copy the URL which caipi provides to you. So let me just go in here into my HTTP request tool. And I'm going to make a post request to the URL that it gave me. We have our own little key that identifies the endpoint, sorry, ID I meant, and then another key to authenticate the user. And you can also provide this in the header. And now if I put the same payload in here and I run the request, we get the same response. So basically that means for us that we can suddenly treat working with large language models as simply calling an API, providing the parameters that we want to provide, and being sure that we always get back the type of response schema that we expect. And hopefully this will help you a great deal by creating AI functionalities and building into your application.